Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Don't forget, if you like the video, click on like and subscribe and talk about it on chat lines, wherever it is your social media activities, and help us to grow and help more people. I'll talk to you soon.
And Lan says, hello, Mehran. Feeling better, but still got a lot of doubt and fear. That's what HOCD is, Lan. It's French call it doubting disease. Of course, as you know, they don't say it like this. They say le doubting disease. so, so that's what HOCD is. OCD in general is a doubting disease. So you doubt everything, you want assurance, and you go through the health to keep getting assurance. And it's never enough because every time you get the assurance, remember we talked about in the striatum, three circles of goal finding center, reward finding center, and habit center. So, goal finding center is when you feel like there's a compulsion you got to do because there's an obsession. So that would be a goal finding, like you want to perform that goal, that compulsion. And then while you do that, you stimulate the second circle, which is the reward finding center, which is right there. And reward finding is where you do the compulsion, you get dopamine. You say, feels good. And that assurance in pure O is same as doing the compulsion in the physical OCD, such as you feel like you got to wash your hands, even though you know your hands are clean, but you feel like, no, I got to wash my hands. So to be sure that your hands are clean, you go and wash your hands again. And when you do that, dopamine is released and you feel, ah, I'm clean now. I'm safe. And then for that feeling, you get dopamine shot. Now, in pure O, when it's all intrusive thoughts, there's no tangible physical performance of any action to be the compulsion. And the compulsion is that actually repeating a sentence or entertaining the thought and coming up with reasons for it or refuting it, or in your mind, imagination, destroying it, burning it, or simply getting assurances that gives you that feel good and gives you the dopamine. So you're stimulating the dopamine circle center, which in turn leads eventually, because every time you get the dopamine, it also stimulates the habit center. So every time you do a compulsion, whether it's regular OCD, physical OCD, or pure O, you are stimulating the other centers as well, which in this case would be the dopamine center, the reward finding center, and the habit center. So this is a continuation of that whole cycle. So you want assurances, more assurances, because assurance itself is not going to solve your challenge in the long run. It just gives you a little shot of dopamine. And that's what makes you feel great. So, what you need to do is to stop getting assurances so you won't have a habit of, I got to have assurance to feel good. You just say the magic word, whatever. Okay. Brain, you think I'm gay? Okay. Who cares about what you think? I got to know what my choice and preference is, and I know that. I'm not going to explain it to you. So, therefore, whatever. That whatever releases you from thinking that you need assurance. This whatever is like a command system or command word when you use something like, I don't know, to stop thinking. When there's a question asked from you, such as, how long does it take from here to go to Japan with an aircraft of twin engine with 20 passengers, and that's the kind of fuel you have, and so on. How long does it take to get to Japan? You got to go calculate. So from the time that question is posed to you to the time that you finish calculation, figuring out mathematically, calculating certain formulas to come up to that answer, That period is called thinking. So when they ask you what's your name and you say Lan, that's not thinking. That's instinctive information that is available. If they ask you where you're from and you say Slovenia, that's not thinking. That's instinctive information available. But when they ask you, as I asked, how long does it take to get to Japan with such an aircraft, you do calculations. While that calculation is going on, until you find the number, they say, oh, it takes 22 hours. From the beginning of the question to the time you come up with an answer, that's thinking. And then once you get the answer, thinking stops. Now, there are other ways to stop the thinking. The other way is when you do the calculation and you can't figure it out. You don't know how to do the calculation. You try, but you can't. And then you say, I don't know. Thinking stops because the brain gets a signal that stop calculation, stop trying, stops. The other way to stop thinking is without even going through the calculation or trying to figure something out. Right off the bat, when the question is posed, you say, I don't know, and I don't want to know. Thinking stops because you give this magical signals to the brain to have this directive. Now, when you feel like assurances, you simply say, whatever. In other words, the brain stops seeking for assurance because it says it's irrelevant. I don't need it. And that rewires your brain and frees you from having to constantly getting an assurance and be dependent on certain kind of a word and assurance in order. And then for assurance, you keep having to replenish that assurance. Otherwise, there is no way for the brain to stop asking for assurance because it gets dopamine every time that it asks. So it's not really that it needs any assurances. It just wants the dopamine, and its way of getting the dopamine, instead of asking, can I please have some dopamine? It just makes you want to give assurance because then the brain secretes dopamine. So simply try to give the dopamine by saying, whatever, meaning, I don't care, I'm free. I'm not going to play this game. Therefore, I feel good already. And in that way, then you will not receive that craving or need for assurances and free yourself from them. All right. That covers that bit of a thing. And
Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.